All right, continuing on with that piece here in the center, let's go find that reference image again. It's in the Internet Images here under Motorcycle Chassis. So here's that here. We can put that here, but we can also put it here in the 3D view. Why don't we do that? Let's hide our current reference images. I'll just exclude them here. And then also we should probably hide everything we don't need. So I think we've got this and this. So these are already outside of all the collections. That's good. Let's just grab this and bring these out of the collections as well. I'll press M and bring these out to the main scene collection here. Yeah, so there we have those. Now let's just go through and hide everything else. So I'll just click and drag and hide these. We could hide the seat. We could also hide the gas tank. Let's go ahead and do that. Now let's bring in this image into the 3D view as well. So I'll hit the 3 key to go to the right orthographic view, and then let's press Shift A, Image, and Reference. And then we'll go find that image. Here we go. Motorcycle Chassis. I'll load that, and there it is. Let's, a couple things. Let's first turn on opacity and take it down to maybe 0.25 so it isn't quite so bright. And then with this selected, it's just called empty. Let's call it chassis reference. And then we can just take it and scale it down. And we're going to try and move it so it fits over our existing objects here. It isn't going to be perfect. Once again, this isn't an orthographic view. It is a perspective view that we're looking at here in an orthographic view. So it's never going to be quite perfect. But we can get these down to pretty close here. So maybe if I turn it a bit. All right, so what let's do is, first of all, I'm going to ensure that the cursor is in the center of the grid with Shift S1. Then press Shift A, Mesh, and let's create a cylinder. I think I'll use 16 sides again. Shrink it down pretty far with 0.1 and 0.2. And I think I will take away the cap fill so there isn't anything on the top and the bottom here. And then let's just hit G and move it up. Hit the period key. Hit Z, go to wireframe. And then let's just try and get this in place. So I'm going to scale it down, hit the R key and rotate it a bit. And maybe scale it out just a bit. And then we can scale it in the Z, SZ, and bring this up some like this. And then we should probably flare that out a bit. So let's do that. Let's tab into edit mode and go to edge mode with the 2 key, and I'll just alt click and alt shift click these two edges. And then let's hit ESZ and bring these out about like this. And then let's scale these out in the X and the Y, but not the Z. So I'll hit the S key and then Shift Z and then scale those out a bit like that. All right, let's take a look. And then we're going to need to work with these pieces here. So I think what I'll do is maybe split them off. Let's go back to solid view, and maybe if I took these faces here and press Shift D and enter, and then I want to kind of expand them out a bit. And there's a tool over here, this shrink fatten tool. This is really helpful with something like this. And you can see the shortcut is Alt-S. So if I come over here and press Alt-S and move the mouse a bit, you can see I can kind of scale this out without making it any longer. So I'm just going to puff this out just a little bit like that. And then I could take this edge here and hit the G key 2 times and bring that up to where we think it needs to be. Let's hit the Z key and go to wireframe. And yeah, it looks like maybe right about in here. Right there. And then what I want to do is take this piece, I'll hit the L key, and separate it out from this original piece. And keep in mind, we are mirroring this over, so that's good. We want that over there. So I'm just going to hit the P key and separate by selection. And there we go. So now we've got this piece over here. And then let's do the same thing for this. I will Alt-click between two of the faces and then press Control and the plus key on the numpad. And I'll extend this selection out to about here. And let's do this again. Shift-D, Enter, and then Alt-S. And let's bring that out just a bit like this. Something like that. And then let's hit P and separate by selection. And now we've got just this piece and this piece. All right, that's good. Now let's go back to this piece and let's begin extruding this back. So I think if we tab into edit mode, we may be able to just select these faces here. Let's do that and extrude these back to get this basic shape. Now, I don't think we're going to need the whole thing because the gas tank is going to be right here. In fact, we could bring that back if we wanted. Yeah, so we're not going to need that whole area all the way back here. We just needed to go kind of hide away in the gas tank there. So let's take these faces and just hit E and pull these back like this. And we could scale in the Y. We could press SY0 and flatten those up if we wanted to do that. So I'll bring it back to about right here. And then I'll extrude it again. I'll hit E and pull out a bit like this. And then I'll bring that up because if we bring the gas tank back, you can see we can see that. Now, we may not be able to see this because of all the other things that are happening that we haven't created yet, but we'll go ahead and just ensure that it's there just in case. So I'll go back to wireframe, select these points and bring these up a bit like this. And then we should probably extrude one more time. Let's do that. I'll select all of these, go back to the side view, and let's hit E and bring these back to maybe here. Let's take a look at the gas tank. Yeah, one more. Let's do one more. E and bring that back like this. Now let's take a look. Yeah, so that hides that away pretty well. I'm going to bring that back to there. Now we could also select these faces here and extend that up just in case we ever see that. I don't think we will, but just in case. All right, and then let's grab these edges here and let's extrude these in. So let's press ES Shift Z once again and bring those in. And lastly, I'd like to see if I can get this edge right in here. Let's hide the gas tank and see if we can get that edge right in here. I'm not sure that we can, but let's try it. Maybe I'll take this face here. We could actually split this in half and mirror it over so we don't have to do the same thing on both sides. Why don't we just do that? Why don't we just work on one side and then we'll mirror it over. So I'm going to hit E and pull out a bit. And then I want to connect these up. So maybe I take this and delete it. Delete that face there, and then maybe take these two and bridge edge loops with Control E and bridge edge loops. And there we go. So now we've got that ridge there. I just feel like I wanted that there. So now that we have that, we got to split this and mirror it over to the other side, but that's not too difficult. Let's take the image here and just hide that for a moment. We'll go to the front view and tab into edit mode. Let's go to wireframe, face mode, and I'm just going to drag select just one side right there. That looks pretty good. Let's hit delete and delete faces. And then let's just mirror this over to the other side. So let's come back here, add a mirror modifier, turn on clipping, and then let's just click apply here. There we go. Let's smooth it. And then let's come down here to our object data properties, turn on auto smooth. And what do we think? Not bad. Let me try and scroll that up just a little bit, see what I lose. Oh, I like if I scroll it up to right about here, right about 48, I lose those edges, but I keep this one here. I kind of like that. So then we want that cylinder then in between there. Let's go back to that reference image that we had before. See if I can remember which one it was. Let's take a look at this one. And right in here, there's a cylinder. So let's create that. It looks as if there's more space in there here in our model than in here, but it looks like this area could come down. So if we tab into edit mode, what if we took these here like this, and we brought them down to about here? And then we could also grab these points up here, I believe. Let's try this. And bring them down just a hair like this. That might work. Let's try that. Yeah, so I think that works pretty well. So now we could add that cylinder in here. Let's do that. Let's take this piece, grab this point here, bring the cursor to it with Shift S2. We'll add a new cylinder. Let's scale it down. Scale it down like this. Let's turn it a bit so it is in line with all of this. Scale it in the Z with SZ. Scale this back out. Yeah, so we get something kind of like this. We could tab into edit mode now and grab these points here and move these up. Maybe scale out a little more like this. And then we could begin extruding down to get this. So maybe I take this. So now we could hit ES and scale in a bit. EZ and pull down a bit. I'll do that again. EZ and let's bring this down like this, and then ES and scale that in like that. We could also press ES up here, just so we're getting something that looks kind of like this. Maybe bring it down a bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a mirror or a subdivision surface modifier here and smooth it. And then let's add a few edges just to hold these like this. I'll add 2 down here just so we have something like this in here to kind of connect these 2 pieces up like that. We could also take these and just bring these up into here and take this and bring this forward into here. We need to apply the mirror modifier here and then take these and join it together with this piece right here. Let's try that. Control J. And then maybe we could re-smooth it and drag this up just a bit. Oh, we lose that nice edge there. But what we could do is just Alt-click here and Alt-Shift-click here, and then Control-E and mark sharp. There we go. Yeah, that's kind of nice. We could even do one down here if we wanted. Like this, and mark sharp down there. So we get a nice edge to that. All right, in the next video, we'll begin working on the area up in here to try and connect all this up.